Well, the roller coaster in terms of weather and temperature continues. Thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. The colder air now starting to filter back southwards over the British Isles through the course of today, and as a result of that, we're seeing scenes like this here. This was the scene literally within the last half an hour between North Keswick and Tor, which is literally just above Inverness. Heavy frequent showers blowing in on that very strong westerly to southwesterly wind, and with the cold air kind of just starting to kind of sink its way southwards, we're seeing precipitation changing from rain over to snow. But we'll go back to the 850 chart because you can see here the overall picture in terms of air mass. It's still mild across much of England and Wales as well. But with this, we're keeping our eyes very closely on this feature here to the south and southwest of Iceland here. If we look at the overview chart here, you can see exactly what's going on here. So there's the feature right here. That is the very feature, by the way, that dropped into the 920s and millibars just off the east coast of Greenland back, 36 to 48 hours ago. That system's kind of peeling away from the Greenland Iceland area and making a beeline for the northern half of the British Isles. And as I play through the loop, you can see here that we continue through the rest of today with that cold westerly wind here containing polar maritime air. But that system actually does drop down over Scotland in a weakening form through the course of tonight, and that's going to increase the winds to gale and severe gale force across the northern half of the British Isles through the course of tonight. So it's basically later tonight through the overnight and into the first half of the early hours of tomorrow morning. We're going to see winds in excess of 60, 70, possibly even 80 miles per hour, likely to exceed 100 miles an hour, I think, over the Cairngorms. But that system very quickly, rapidly fills as it moves into the near continent, and then it's all eyes on the next system out over the Atlantic here. Of course, the Atlantic continues to be very, very firmly in control of our weather. The westerlies are roaring, and the temperature profile is just crazy. It's up and down, up and down. Friday, snow showers, milder during the first half of Saturday. Then Saturday night into Sunday, very heavy snowfall, disruptive snow at that. Then on Monday, we had mild conditions, westerly winds, temperatures at 12 degrees around Inverness, for example. Rapid snow melt, even in the areas that's seen upwards of a half a foot of snow through the Cairngorms and through the Grampians. The snow literally disappeared within a 24-hour period. Now we're back into the cold air once again, and it's a repeat cycle here. You get the overall idea. What's been going on. For the past couple of weeks here. Certainly a big catch up compared to the mild and the doldrums of January with that area of high pressure. But then comes that feature through the course of tonight. This is, of course, the UK view. Notice here how quickly the pressure is coming up as that system starts to fill, and then we're kind of left with high pressure over the British Isles here. So we're going to see, a little bit of a reprieve in conditions. We're going to start to probably pick up frosty conditions on Friday morning once again. But of course, you cast your eyes to the edge of the chart there, and you can see here the next mass of precipitation moving our way that will eventually move into the UK during the course of Saturday, bringing a mixture of rain, sleet, and hill snow, possibly some low-level snow for a time, and then of course as the milder air starts to mix in, we'll start to see the snow level rise, of course. But if we look at the 150 millibar charts, we can see here it's quite interesting. Now that feature, as I speak, is still kind of just to the south of Iceland and pushing southeastwards fairly rapidly. Actually, it will be sweeping across Scotland through the overnight tonight. But notice here we've got some incredibly cold air coming off Greenland. So basically this area of low pressure is like a spade just scooping that cold air off Greenland out over the Atlantic here. But notice here that there is a detachment forms here with the area of low pressure versus the cold air. It basically leaves the truly Arctic Greenland source air behind it. It still contains some cold, it still contains plenty of wind, but there is that disconnect. If you notice here, the purples remain behind the system, and that system kind of pushes down over the British Isles here. And we do have enough cold air in place to bring more snowfall with this system. So blizzard conditions very possible, tricky driving conditions during the overnight period tonight, and of course the winds picking up to 60, 70 mile per hour. I think over particularly exposed areas we may see a few gusts in excess of 75 to 80 miles per hour. But yeah, like I say, colder in place, but it leaves behind the really brutal cold. You can see here that the purples kind of just stay to the north of the mainland here. Over Orkney, it kind of just kind of reaches Orkney, and of course you can see Shetland in some of that exceptionally cold air. That system then moves into the near continent and disappears. And of course, the next system comes in. You can see here the milder air associated with that next system, and then that moves through with its frontal systems, of course. And then we've got the cold air coming back into play once again. So we'll maintain this up and down temperature profile here. One day is mild, the next day is colder with snow. The following day we get mild again, and then it just continues to maintain that, up and down kind of setup here. Then, if you notice here, according to the GFS, now this is out the Wednesday next week, so this is a full week away. But notice here we've got some very mild air coming in with a system that goes up towards Iceland. Of course, the further north you get these systems, the more the milder air from the subtropics gets lifted north with it. So we'll keep our eyes on that here, but certainly over the next 5 to 7 days, we're going to continue to keep this up and down setup going here. And if we look at the overview chart here, we'll watch as the system comes in across the British Isles with its wind, rain, and mountain snowfall. That system kind of takes its time moving across the UK, so we're going to remain in that very disturbed weather pattern, I think, through the course of the weekend here. Then keeping our eyes to a system here on the southern flank of that low here. We've got this kind of boundary set up here between the high over the Alps and the area of low pressure near and just west of Orkney. We've got a feature here that we may have to keep our eyes on, may bring wind and some pretty heavy precipitation across southern portions of the UK, across northwestern Spain and Portugal, in the France as well here, if you notice. And yeah, like I say, we'll keep our eyes. That's a developing area of low pressure, if you notice here. It's still a wee bit away. It's not until the end of the weekend and into early next week, but certainly worth keeping an eye on that system as we go forward here. And then we've got more weather to speak about as we go through the course of next week here. We've got another very deep area of low pressure that is kind of centered not that far to the north of the UK. Now, this, folks, is a loaded pattern, and by loaded I mean we've got basically a storm train of systems crossing the Atlantic, and that has been the case now for some time. But we have the potential with a world of cold to the north and very mild air to the south with that strong jet stream. And if we start to get some waves within the jet, we'll start to see the development of lows. We're seeing that on the models. Some of these lows could become very potent indeed, and we could, see very, very easily another couple of named, if not more, at least another couple of named storms, I think, between the mid and latter half of February with this type of pattern that we've got with the polar vortex. Very powerful indeed, very powerful zonal westerlies as well. You've got all the ingredients in place for some very powerful areas of low pressure to impact the UK as we go forward. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this, because you can see the complexity of the pattern, multiple areas of low pressure over the far North Atlantic. We've got a very strong area of high pressure. Of course, that has been the mainstay of the winter, this very powerful area of high pressure centered between the Azores and, of course, the Western Mediterranean. But it's this area right in between that we're seeing the development of lows at the base of the trough. And these areas of low pressure can develop very rapidly, intensify very quickly, and with the positioning of the jet stream, the UK could be in the firing line for some very major storms as we go through the second half of February here. So you can see here, this is off the jet stream. This is looking at the North Atlantic view, and you can see here what I'm talking about. As I skip through the sequence, the jet stream sinks south over the course of today with the presence of that low moving out of Iceland here. And then as we go forward through and into the weekend here, you notice here the jet stream kind of flattens, but it shifts slightly further south. So it keeps particularly the northern half of the UK in the cold air, and especially across the southern portion of the UK, will maintain that milder theme as we go forward here. And I think as we continue to play through the loop, the jet stream remains strong, and the jet stream also has the presence sitting right across the centre of the UK, keeping these air masses separated here. But then, as we push into the early portion of next week, it looks as if we may start to see the jet lifting north, areas of low pressure, perhaps pushing up towards Iceland. That then forces the jet north, and the mild subtropical air gets pushed north as well here. So plenty of weather to speak about here. More snow, I think, on the cards through the course of the rest of today, at least for the Highlands at least. Down across the central belt and south, I don't think there's going to be much in the way of wintry precipitation here. But thanks for watching anyway. Of course, as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll hopefully be back, if not tomorrow, on Friday with more. Bye for now.